Hey everyone out there, how's it going with you? Welcome to Screen Speak and welcome to a new year! It is a new year. My voice almost cracked a little bit. I'm so excited. It's 2023. So excited to be doing yet another year of the podcast with everybody here. So excited to keep this momentum going. Just keep the positive energy going for this podcast, for the new year, for everything, for all of it. Okay? I think you understand. Welcome to Screen Speak. It is the podcast that is all about movies, life, and so much more. I'm Jordan Anderson. This is my podcast, and as always, if you haven't listened to the past 60-some odd episodes, thank you for being here. Whether it's a first-time listener, existing listener, I don't really care. You're here, and that's what counts. For you first-time listeners out there, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and hit the follow button and the bell on whatever it is that you're listening to this on, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever your podcast preference is for however it is you're listening. I just want you to hit that follow button. Why? For two reasons. One, it helps build the following base that is Screen Speak, okay? So that's good for the podcast growth. And then the second reason why, more so for the bell, is so that you actually get notified when I post up new episodes. So then you're in the know for everything, you're not missing out, and you're going to be one of the first to hear this great new content that I have coming for you all. So that's why I want you to do that. Oh, what's that? What's that? I can't hear you. You like social media? I got you covered. There's Instagram and Facebook for this thing. Eventually, there could be other social media platforms. I'll give you that, but not yet. Right now, we're focusing on Instagram and Facebook right now. So if you want to get involved with the community of Screen Speak on there, talk about movies, talk about whatever you want, ask me any questions that you'd like, you can go ahead and do so on either Instagram or Facebook. And last thing I'll say is that if you want to reach out to my podcast for any sort of reason, whether it's a guest inquiry, sponsorship opportunities, anything that you want to ask me about, you can contact the podcast's official email, which is just screenspeakpodcast@gmail.com. All this information is going to be in the description of this episode and most any episode going forward, as well as past episodes. So be sure to go ahead and take a look at the episode description in case I talked a little too fast for you. But that's just because I wanted to get the plug stuff out of the way and get into the first new content of the new year. So let's go ahead and do this. So first off, before I just introduce what this episode is about, the guest and whatnot, let's just talk about you for a second, Screen Speaker. Can I call you that? I feel like I can call you that at this point, assuming that you've been here since the beginning. If not, I'm going to call you a Screen Speaker. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good New Year's. I hope that your Christmas was also good. If you don't celebrate Christmas, could be Hanukkah. I don't really know what you choose to celebrate, but whatever you did celebrate, I really honestly hope it went really, really well for you, your friends, your loved ones, etc. I think it's important to take that time during those holidays to reflect on what really counts, what's really important, and to look ahead into the new year optimistically and with hope, to hopefully just make it be the best year that you can have it be for your life. I don't know why that sounded so motivational just now, but I guess I'm just in that mood, so I'm going to roll with it. This guest that I have on the podcast today, he has not been on actually since episode 7 of Screen Speak, if you can believe it. This is episode 64. Just to double check myself, I'm scrolling up in my library here. Yeah, this is episode 64. So he hasn't been back since episode 7. Trading calendars with him. You know, we were trading our schedules back and forth a lot. Couldn't quite get the timing right. But now the time has come for Mr. Ryan King to be back on the podcast. He is my good friend, and he's also quite the basketball enthusiast. And I think if you're interested in basketball or have any real, I already said interest in basketball, but if you have interest beyond basketball into sports movies and whatnot, I really think you'll be in a treat for this episode because him and I have a sit down in person, and we talk about Adam Sandler's latest new Netflix film, Hustle, which is still on Netflix. You can check it out. I'll just get this out of the way. I really enjoyed the movie. Ryan enjoyed the movie as well. So this is going to be an overall positive episode, but Ryan and I have a pretty good banter back and forth. We kind of tell a couple of inside jokes between the two of us, but I'm sure you'll still enjoy hearing us have a laugh with each other because we are pretty old friends. But then we also talk about some things I didn't quite expect, actually. I got into the subject of basketball a bit more than I was thinking I was going to. Thought it was going to center more around the movie, but We talked about how Ryan has varsity coaching experience. Talked about what he loves about the game, some of his thoughts on the overall sport. We talked about sports fans that are in the NBA community, as well as different sports like football and whatnot. Couple of things. I don't know. We just touched on a couple of really interesting subjects, and it was a good time. It was a good conversation. So I'm looking forward to having you all hear that. But anyways, I'll stop this rambling introduction here, and I will let you just sit back, kick back, maybe get a snack, grab a drink, whatever you want to do. But this is my conversation with my good friend, Mr. Ryan King. We're doing it live! I have to put that clip in.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live!
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, too.
Cheers. I know you don't have an alcoholic beverage. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Prime.
Prime?
It's, Jake and Logan Paul.
The name rings a bell, yeah. Because Logan Paul's a YouTube guy, right?
Yeah, and they're both kind of like douchier, like Disney Channel people. Jake Paul's the bad one.
I didn't know they came from the Disney Channel.
I think so. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I don't know.
Okay.
But Logan Paul, the older one, he's cooler. He and KSI, this YouTuber from the UK, they are founders of Prime. And it's good. It tastes like a bomb pop, this one.
Well, I was going to say that the outside of the bottle kind of looks like a bomb pop now that you say it.
Yeah. So
it's
only 20 calories and it tastes really good.
Well, where do you buy that?
Target.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was
I literally
online thing.
buy them out like every single time I go there. Wow, I feel like I just gave a free advertisement for Prime.
This episode is
Prime Hydration.
I was going to say this episode is not sponsored by Prime, but hey, I'm trying to think. I talked to somebody actually about this a while ago. I think it actually was Adam, where he was kind of like saying like, would you have like are you open to any sponsorship? Like anybody wants to come and like you do like a read for them. Yeah. Are you going to say no? I don't know if I'm in a position to really be choosy, right? I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's like I haven't really done it.
Yeah.
But I guess if Prime showed up, I mean, it looks good. I see it's got like a muscle on the side. It's got vitamin B.
Yeah. What if you had like a Middle Eastern like oil company like reach out?
They're just like hello. Yeah. That's not a good. That's not a good voice. It's good to see you back. It's been a while since you've been on. I wasn't actually sure if I would get you back because you're busy.
Yeah.
You actually do quite a bit. I think between just your day job. You do varsity coaching, I think is the expression.
Coaching basketball.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have a girlfriend.
I have a beautiful girlfriend.
You do. Trying to think what else. Friends, family, a home.
Yeah, every now and then I've got free time, but it's few and far between all the things I got going on in life.
Well, I appreciate you literally starting off the new year by talking about hustle.
New year. New me.
I am curious how many people are gonna, be new for a little bit,
Dude, you were mentioning your wife is at the gym right now. I feel terrible for her.
She's at the gym on the first. Yes. Hey, but to be fair, we go to the gym like 5 times a week. Yeah. So it's like we're not like restarting from like I haven't worked out for like 2 years and now I'm gonna get back into shape.
I bet a week ago at this time there was probably like 10 people in the gym right now. I bet she can't even get to a machine right now with how many people are probably
I feel like it. And I've already seen the ads for like, restart on a high note here with $1 down. Like just that
no commitment.
No commitment, no worries, only gains and no pains. Or I don't know. I can't do a read for a gym. But anyways, I had you back onto the podcast because we recently watched the movie Hustle.
Yes, we did.
With the Sandman.
The Sandman. Hubie.
Hubie?
Marino! Help me, Marino! Help me!
Let me make this perfectly clear for the Screen Speak audience here. don't ever watch the movie Hubie Halloween. Okay. I'm actually like, I think I'll just get this out of the way. I'm going to be saying a lot of good things about this movie. This
Yeah,
is a movie that I was actually really surprised by and I enjoyed. But yes, it did come from the same man that came up with Hubie Halloween.
Part of my prep for this, which was limited, but I did think about how many actors do you think are out there where they have such a like different like spectrum, where like the top of their acting game of the movies that they're in or produce are as good as Hustle, and then the bottom of the bottom, which I would consider like Hubie, being close to the bottom.
Yep.
How many actors, producers, whoever in the movie industry have that much range in their work? Normally you have good actors who are in good films majority of their career, and they have a good standard of work, or you have the other end and they're pretty much stick there.
Yeah.
But then you got Hubie.
Well, the Sandman is, Adam. Look, I joke because Adam Sandler, for the bulk of his career, he is known for comedy. He does pepper in the occasional dramatic movie occasionally. Truth be told, I don't actually know how many times he gets offered them. I mean, really, if you're being realistic, like I don't know how many times he does get offers, because for all we know, he might have been getting dramatic offers for a while, and he just chooses the comedy road.
Don't you think a guy of his stature at this point like he doesn't have to make another movie the rest of his life, right?
No, he could just coast and he'd be fine.
Yeah, don't you think he could just kind of sit around, and then when he feels like, oh, hey, I feel like doing this, or I have an idea, let's try and make something happen, let's put it into action. Don't you think that's more his speed, where he can just be a little more picky and choosy, is what I'm trying to
I feel I feel like he definitely can. And also with Happy Madison Productions being his company, I'm sure he has a lot of control over just kind of what comedies he does. And I do think that in this stage of his career, I mean, he does these movies like Hubie, and he's done like the murder mystery like that, which a lot of people actually like that movie, and they're making a sequel to it. But I feel like he doesn't put a lot of pressure on himself for his projects. Like I feel like there was a time maybe early in his career, like even comedy-wise, where he was probably being more selective about the roles, or like more like purposeful about what types of roles he would do. But now, like, you sort of, it's almost a joke where he takes a bunch of his friends and like they just kind of go have a laugh, and it's like it feels very like just laid back, and it's them, and they don't really care.
I think he's much more concerned with like having fun and doing stuff that he'll remember, rather than like trying to win an award. You know what I mean? No.
Have you seen because when Uncut Gems came out, he won, it was either like a Saturn Award or like an Independent Spirit Award or something like that. Did you see his acceptance speech?
No.
You should definitely see it. It's great because like he does have some serious moments, but like he's fully like acknowledging that I never am up for like stuff like this. So the fact like he's nominated, like he like does his his sticky voice is like
did he come up in like shorts and a t-shirt too?
No, he actually looked okay. He wasn't wearing like, because I know he actually normally wears like the baggy athletic shorts and the t-shirt and whatnot. But no, I'll insert a little bit of the audio of it.
Hey, thank you so much, man. That's really cool. Thanks. I love you guys. Thank you, man. I know you guys. I'll try to go quick. My speech is too long, so I'll try to breeze through it. And I love you. Just in case they cut me off, I love you to my wife and my kids and my family, and I love you. Okay, I wrote a speech. Here we go real quick. Hello, my name is Adam Sandler. Thank you. I stand before you trembling with thankful glee as I receive the so-called Best Actor trophy, independently speaking, of course. First off, it's great to see our host, Aubrey Plaza, again. Aubrey and I did a movie entitled Funny People 11 years ago. That was actually the last time critics pretended not to hate me for 5 fucking minutes. Catch you in another 11 years, Aubrey. Okay. I'd like to also give a shout out to my fellow nominees, who will now and forever be known as the guys who lost to fucking Adam Sandler.
Let's just jump in. Let's
roll.
just jump in and talk about this movie.
Let's tip this one off.
That's a basketball term, right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, sports.
Yeah. Sports ball.
Sports ball. That other team are rats. I don't like them.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start off our conversation on this by just actually talking about the sport of basketball before we really even jump into the movie itself. You particularly, I'm asking because you really, I think, enjoy basketball.
You could say that. Yeah.
So I just wanted you to kind of, elaborate a little bit about like why you like basketball. Like, do you still play it? Like, do you just do like the fantasy sports betting stuff or the coaching? Like, just kind of tell me you on basketball.
Sure. Yes, I still play. I definitely do bet on basketball quite a bit still, and I also coach basketball. I watch basketball. I don't know. I try and learn about basketball so I can be a better coach, better player. I don't know. I just I find it very interesting. It's almost, I don't know. I almost want to say it's kind of like an artwork. Like some people would study the different techniques of different artists or whatever, and that stuff bores me. But studying the different aspects about basketball, like, I can't get enough of that shit. So I don't know.
But I mean, I guess like, what's your earliest memories with the sport?
Earliest memories, probably like dunking on a little like kiddie hoop in the house, or like those Nerf hoops that you hang from like doorways or whatever. Like that stuff I remember going out in the driveway as a kid and playing my older brother and one-on-one basketball. And the thing my mom always says is that we kept on playing like every night until he made me cry, and then I'd come running.
Why did he make you cry?
Because he'd beat me up. Like, I mean, not like, in a bad way, but like, he wouldn't take it easy on me. I'd lose all the time because he's 4 years older than me.
And he probably had some height on you as well.
Height, probably 50 pounds at any given time, and way more talented at the time. Not now.
At the time.
Not now.
The tables turned.
Yeah, and we'd play until I cried, and then I'd run inside looking for sympathy. My parents wouldn't give me it, and then the next day we'd do it all over again.
So just rinse and repeat, build some resilience,
That's right.
And then you played in school, right?
Yep.
Like a little bit?
Played all the way up through high school, and then that first year after I graduated high school, I started coaching.
Now, what did you play? Like, I know there's different positions in basketball.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the guys around me. I was decently versatile. I wasn't really athletic, though, so like, I could handle the ball okay, so I was kind of a guard at times. But if I was playing with other guys who were smaller and quicker, then I'd play the big, too, because I could be physical and rebound. I don't know. Kind of depended on who I was playing with.
Okay, so you play through high school, and then at what point does the coaching side of it come in?
That fall, winter, right after I graduated. So that was 2017 fall, and then I've been coaching ever since then. The only break I really had was when COVID first started. I did not coach the beginning of that fall and winter of 2020 and then into 2021. But
how did the coaching opportunity come your way? Like did you actively seek it, or were you approached?
I coach at Trinity, and that's the middle school where I went to. And when I was going into college, I was interested in teaching, so I did a student teacher like shadow opportunity, whatever, at Trinity. And that was during the fall of 2017, and then I got asked if I had any interest in coaching, and I said, heck yeah, I really want to coach, and they gave me an opportunity, and now I've been there ever since.
So now, can you kind of describe like how the a day in the life of like assistant coaching works? Because you are the assistant coach then, or
yeah, so I head coach for the 5th and 6th grade team, and then I assist on the 7th and 8th grade team.
Okay, so like what does that look like? Just coaching.
I'd say, honestly, a lot of it for the 5th and 6th grade guys is not so much like getting into very advanced basketball stuff. It's more so working on the fundamentals and the mentality side of things. So it's can be kind of babysitting at times, glorified babysitting.
Right.
Where you're trying to teach kids, hey, you need to always work hard, be a good teammate, be a good person to be around, and And then hopefully if you do a good job with them at 5th and 6th grade level, then by the time they get to that 7th and 8th grade level, they're ready to, really take off and become better basketball players. And
So what is some of the mentality that is usually prescribed or like you try to instill on people?
toughness, hardworking, like cooperative or coachable. Everybody, including myself, has room for improvement. So, being open to hearing that correction or coaching.
Yep.
That's a really, really big thing at our level. And then, I don't know, the thing I always say is be the guy that other people want to be around. So, like, we try and get these guys to be good people to each other, too. Because I also say this, sorry, I'm pulling out all my coaching phrases here. But
That's fine.
you're going to be a man a lot longer than you're going to be a basketball player.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So trying to also coach them on how to be young men and growing up and be good people.
Yeah, what is like the correlation like with sports in that? Because like I've seen my fair share of sports movies, and especially like if there's ones that are centered around like a coach, like I'll pull one out as well, and cite Remember the Titans.
Yep.
Great Denzel Washington movie, but there's equal parts of shaping people versus like their athletic talent. I mean, like, why do you think they correlate together?
I just think there's a lot of lessons that happen naturally with sports where, like, in life, as in sports, you're not going to win every single game. You're not going to win every single challenge in life. So you need to learn how to deal with disappointment, maybe. Even if you do give your all, sometimes it's not enough.
Right.
Learning how to deal with that and still be able to move forward. And then I'd say a big thing is working with other people. Even if you have a job where you don't have to rely on anybody else for anything, I would bet you that you still have somebody else who's relying on you to finish your job, And so just trying to explain to those guys that you got people relying on you, you're working in a team setting, what you're doing is important, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like with basketball, I mean, especially because there's other sports where you kind of, I feel like, have your moment in the spotlight, and I'm sure basketball's no exception. There's times where like you can make the trajectory of the whole game change,
Sure.
But you do have to, I feel like, work together very cohesively.
Yeah.
There has to be like kind of an understanding of that, and I definitely expect it would go off the court as well.
Yep.
Because otherwise, some of those disciplines and things like that, they carry over into how well you care about the game, I would expect.
Yep. So a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with, which I've already mentioned, I won't repeat, but carries over to the classroom too. So, if a kid is misbehaving in the classroom and basketball is his outlet to, have fun or whatever, you try and use that basketball opportunity as a chance to fix something else that, even though it might not, be specifically evident in basketball, it might be more evident in the classroom, but basketball is where you are having the most success fixing it, because that's what he's receptive to. That's what he can relate to.
And how often do you work with like the head coach?
Oh, every day. Yeah.
I mean, like
It's very collaborative.
does he come up with like the plays? I mean, like, or do you have any input on that?
I think at the end of the day, he's got to take the credit, whether it's negative or positive, on how the team does. But that being said, it's very collaborative. I always feel like I'm being heard if I have something to bring up, or if he, asks for advice or opinions on something. It's very open. We have a good relationship.
Well, I mean, I think I can say his name, right? I mean, it's fine. It's Coach Mueller,
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
Principal Mueller. Is he still
Yes.
principal?
Principal,
right?
AD, and basketball coach. Yes.
How does he juggle all that?
Man, I don't know, because he still works out for like 2 hours every single day too.
I was gonna say, if you talk about that, I think of two things. One, I think how here in the local news he had that story.
Yeah.
Was that like last year where like he like showed like he literally showed the camera like his journal like every day. He's like, I even do it like on Christmas. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then of course I think about the time at the gym that I ran into him, because I went to Trinity as well way back in the day, and I was a I don't want to say a student because I never had his like head class, but like he was a gym teacher. He did gym stuff.
Yeah.
I definitely was a shrimpy little shy kid. I was not his material that he was looking for sports. But I ran into him at the gym, and like he's always super nice, like super nice, very very direct, has a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Blunt.
Yeah, and I know at the time I was kind of just getting back into working out. I hadn't been doing it steady like I am now. And I was like lifting like baby weights, and like he was like, "Hey, like hey Jordan, like how's it going? Like you're working out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm working out," and like lifting my baby weights, and he just kind of like he like eyeballed me like up and down, like I could tell like there was some judgment, and he's just like, "Well," he's like, everybody's got to start somewhere, and then like right next to me, he starts just like freaking lifting like this huge bar, just like getting after it, and I'm like.
Yeah,
like you're like in your 60s or something, and
he just starts ripping out these.
Dude, I mean, like
super heavy weight.
Oh yeah. I definitely had like PTSD coming. Like I could feel the nom choppers like coming back, or I was just like, oh no, this is like it's like gym all over. I feel I feel emasculated.
Yeah.
But he's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's a great guy, and I know he's shepherded, dare I say, like a lot of people. But let's talk about hustle and get more into the basketball side.
Let's defensive slide back into the movie.
I actually want. Yeah, this will be a challenge. You can use a basketball analogy to transition between our subjects here.
Yeah, we're transitioning back on defense. We're going back to.
So I appreciate kind of understanding more about like how you look at the sport and the coaching side of it and whatnot. On the actual subject of the sport, though, I mean, do you have one that you follow more, whether it be NCAA, NBA? I mean, is there much of a difference between the two?
There is differences, or there are differences. Sorry. Okay, I think I like NCAA basketball more, college basketball, because there you don't have as many like superstars, so it's more of a team game. It's more fun to watch. But NBA is where you get to see the best of the best competing.
I mean, it's the elite.
Yeah. So, it's kind of pick and choose what you want. I would guess that the average like basketball fan would probably say they like college basketball more, but
I feel like I've heard a similar thing be said for like NFL and I was about to say NHL. That's hockey. But there's NCAA for college football as well. But I feel like I hear that consistently, like amongst fans, where it's like you feel like, and they like in the college, there's more of like a fun to it because not everybody's like gunning for that NBA spot.
Yeah.
And then NBA, is like top tier serious, like hundreds of people want to be where you're at, like every year. So there's definitely that to it. But talking about this movie, the first aspect that I kind of wanted to jump into was actually the side of talent scouting, because I actually thought that was something unique about the movie, is that it is from the perspective of Adam Sandler's character, Stanley Sugarman, who's a talent scout for the NBA. And I just didn't know if you know much about talent scouting or like kind of, how that works.
So all I would say is that, okay, so Adam Sandler in the movie was talent scouting to try and recruit talent, right?
Yep.
And so I haven't had experience in that sense, but I have had experience scouting opponents that we're going to play. So similar sort of thing where I'm watching a guy or a team play and trying to kind of nail down how good of a player is he, what tendencies does he have, is he going to crumble under pressure? Is he going to let the emotions of the game get to him? That sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And so much in the way that Adam Sandler and basketball scouts kind of check boxes and make notes on, I had similar sort of things scouting for opponents that we'd play.
I did enjoy how, like, early on they have like this boardroom scene and like they're talking about a prospect for the game and how he says like play wise, he's like, yeah, like the guy's fantastic, but like he's always bitching at the refs, or he shows up late to he said like an expression like he's late to like their like warm ups or or practices, something like that. Do you think
that's a big red flag?
I was gonna say I would assume that is a big red flag because obviously that shows how seriously they care about the sport. Not the sport, but the team, like what they're doing. They're not very team oriented. That sounds selfish, kind of. But I thought it was interesting, like how they portrayed him doing talent scouting because it clearly like looked exhausting. Like just going from like, plane to plane, hotel. He's, they make joke with this is where I like Adam Sandler's kind of charisma because he's eating all this garbage fast food, and his wife's just like, what are you doing to yourself? And he's like, you're killing yourself. He's like, that's the idea. Like, it sucks. But it does seem like it would be taxing after a while, just constantly being grinding for talent like that.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of like just the nature of how that scene or that collection of clips was made kind of shows that it's constant grind, kind of rinse and repeat. And also it was good at showing that you're not going to be like successful. Like every game that he was going to, it wasn't like he was finding a star player and that's the reality, right? You're going through countless and countless games to try and find one or two guys to actually like continue putting effort towards. Because
I was wondering about that, like I'm sure there's data, crunchers out there in the NBA as well that they're like, for every 1,000 games, you'll see one person that, stands out. But I do actually wonder like how many games like the average scout probably has to like kind of go to, and not only go to once, but I'm sure they probably have to follow up. Oh yeah. Kind of get to know their current coach, their situation, kind of like, just how they approach the game, like what are their goals, their physical shape, their mental shape, everything like that. So I really definitely enjoyed seeing that. And then kind of what I thought was interesting too is like, when he does find the cruise missile. I like that. Like that was kind of fun banter back and forth where like he just clearly doesn't like the guy just like I'm like, not the cruise missile. That is stupid. But like Adam Sandler like makes it like he's playful, he makes it fun. My wife just walked in. She's here.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We were just saying, Isola, do you want to join the podcast for a second?
I guess.
We were just saying how like it's kind of funny that you're going to the gym on the first day of the new year, like because are you trying to change your life? Get back into it.
I'm just trying to keep the change going.
Were there a lot of people there that you don't recognize?
There were.
Yeah, I bet.
They're changing their lives.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to just keep the change.
See if they're there next week.
But sorry, going back to the cruise missile. I do wonder like how often there is just like pure raw talent that's out there in the sport. Yeah. I mean, have you ever like watched a player and just been like, they got it. Like, they got it down.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally like no two players are the same, right? So you can find comparisons to people, but I mean, yeah, there's talent everywhere. It's just trying to decipher if in Adam Sandler's case, it's like if it's worth a follow-up, and then from there, if you have the follow-up, and then like the one dude said he was like 22 years old and he looks like he's 35.
Now you said he's like, a real NBA player.
Yeah, he
right?
is. That was Boban.
I did enjoy, like, that was one of the first scenes, like he's like checking out these guys, like, man, it's like this guy's gonna kill it. But how old are you? He's like, I'm 22.
And then his kid walks out, who's like 6'5" probably, and he's like, oh yeah, is that your kid? He's like, yeah. He's like, how old is he? Like 12.
Yeah, I'm just like no. Yeah. I couldn't help but be reminded of his birth certificate.
Yeah.
Who the hell's this guy?
Sorry.
Is he on your roster?
Yeah, of course he is. He wasn't feeling well earlier, so I couldn't play him.
You told me in sequel.
This guy's 50. He's got a mustache.
Not according to birth certificate.
He's got documentation.
But I'm curious, Ryan. Like let's put you in the talent scout seat. Okay. You eventually are taking your eye for basketball on the road.
Okay.
And you find somebody. Now I'm sure, obviously the circumstances vary between where the player's from, what their skill set is, and whatnot. But like, how do you go about shaping like talent besides like a training montage? Because of course you have to have the training montage to get them in shape physically.
Yeah. It kind of depends. If you're looking for like a specific like position or something, yeah, that might kind of give you some filters on who to look for. But if it's just general looking for talent, I think you start out by trying to find the guys who check the boxes who are most important to you. So like for most coaches, that would probably be something along the lines of like hardworking, positive body language.
What's positive? What does that mean? Positive body language.
So like if you have, it's natural to feel the emotions of the game, like whether a good thing happens or a bad thing happens, right?
Yeah.
But using those emotions in a positive way, not a negative way. So like if a bad play happens, the body language needs to be, all right, like, here we go, get the next one sort of thing, like move on, not like, oh, dang it, why did I do that? Why did my teammate do that? Sort of
yeah, because you have to, I mean, I know Sandler, he cites it at one point. He's like, when you're out on that court, he's like, you have to believe that you are the best.
Yeah. And
like, as cliche as that sounds, he's like you have to be confident.
I think he says somewhere in the movie too, where it's like, once you're out there, like there's nobody else out there protecting you or doing anything for you, like like you're on your own, and that's totally true.
Yeah, I did enjoy the moments again where he's kind of adding his Sandman charm, where Bo Cruz, he clearly gets like upset when like people kind of give him shit on the court or like they're teasing him, and he's like, you have to be like an iceberg out there.
Your mom's a whore.
What?
What?
What was that?
Just said some words. That's it.
He's not cool, man.
Hey, what are you still standing here for? Let's go. You know what's not cool? A grown man letting another grown man hurt his feelings. Players are gonna try to get in your head every time you step on the court. You gotta be an iceberg out there, all floating around and sharp and taking down ships.
Yeah.
Like you have to like just. It goes in one ear and it goes out the other. And
Yeah.
he's like, he's like, your mother's a whore.
Yeah.
Like, what? What'd you say? And she's like, oh.
And then he like learns how to like say something in like Spanish or whatever, wherever he found them from.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed that.
Hit me with a question.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question. You follow the sport, basketball, of course.
Yes. Sports.
Bo Cruz, he goes viral.
Yes.
A couple times. Have you ever seen people in the sport go viral? I mean, I don't know how involved on like TikToks and stuff like that.
No, yeah, it definitely happens. Like there's the big one that I can relate to right now is there's this French guy who's probably like 7'3", super athletic, has a really good handle on the ball. His name is like Victor Wembanyama, and he's like the next like prodigy sort of thing. Like he's gonna be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft when it rolls around here.
When is the NBA draft? Like when do they do it?
It'd be like in the summer sometime, because the season ends like May, June time frame.
And is that thing that they put in the movie like the complex or
Combine?
Combine? Is that's a real thing?
Yep.
I assume.
Yep. So that's like a event put on for some of the top NBA prospects that just like measures some of their credentials, like their athleticism, their shooting ability, ball handling, passing. It's like different events to try and get a gauge for how good some of the guys are. Holy crap!
The heck was that? Is that you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
yeah, it was.
Oh, what did you drop? What was that?
Some keys.
Drop
that
your
was
keys.
really loud on the mic. That scared me.
No, I mean they're good mics. They pick up a lot. They
I
can
haven't been picking up all the
fear.
farts that I've been at, but what?
All the farts?
Yeah.
What are you, 5? This is terrible.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I really did enjoy the moment. Because there's a couple montages or training montages in this movie, but I did enjoy where he's not really quite getting anywhere with like the kind of like not auditions, but like he's been viewed a couple times by like some of the other NBA people, and he gets like
had tough games.
Had a couple tough games and like the stage fright and stuff. But I like the scene where like Sandler's daughter is getting. She's like a film major, so she like knows how to like kind of film stuff and like make it look good. And they have that moment where they come up with the Bo Cruz challenge.
Yeah.
that scene in particular, it's like I just love the energy of it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so well shot. I feel like there's like, I mean, again, I'm no expert on this particular subject, but like shooting sports, I feel like is a difficult thing in movies to like get it right, to like make sure you're capturing everything and make
it's
it
very
look,
difficult.
Yeah.
And I will say, yes, it was very good in this movie. The only shots in the movie that I really didn't like were the ones where they would like zoom in on either Kermit or
I love Kermit
or Cruz, and it was like the camera was like right up in their grill.
It's like a POV shot, kind of almost.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know, it wasn't.
That's Anthony Edwards. Is that who that is?
Yeah,
because he's a real NBA player.
Yeah,
right?
He's very good. He plays in Minnesota. I have a fun fact about Anthony Edwards, actually.
You mean Kermit?
Kermit. Yes, I have a fun fact about Kermit that this was like the one thing I wanted to bring into this episode here.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So there was actually, Kermit is a very, very good player in the NBA.
Okay.
And Bo Cruz is.
He's in the NBA, isn't he?
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
And like nowhere near the level of Mr. Kermit. Okay. And apparently when the writers were pitching this thing and they got Anthony Edwards to play, apparently they had a scene written up where Mr. Cruz dunks on top of Kermit.
Oh.
And Anthony Edwards is like, no, I'm not doing it.
Like that can't be in the... Yeah. They can't have that in the script.
Yeah. Like, you need to get that out of there. That's not going to happen.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Well, because I mean, there is probably like, it's one thing to like, lend authenticity to the movie and to be in it. But, you got an image.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Someone could see that and probably think.
Well, and I think this movie did a really good job, and it was kind of like almost made for people like me that really enjoy the X's and O's of basketball.
Yeah.
And the people who are like that would totally know that that's Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards getting dunked on is not a good
that
look.
Ain't gonna happen.
That's right.
It's just probably not a good look for him, like you said. Yeah. I think that's another thing I really loved about this movie is I kind of touched on it very briefly on my last episode, the best and worst of 2022, because this is one of my best movies of last year. I could say that now. I just really felt like it was a true love letter to the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like you could say that about like other sports movies, but like this is such a feel good movie, and I know like there's elements in the movie that have been done like 1,000 times before, but between like just the direction of it and the pacing of the movie, like I never felt like there was like really a dull moment. I like that everything was just kind of having a positive vibe, even like when bad stuff was happening. It's like there's no like real super dark side to the movie. Like it's just kind of showing
there's no
the
uncut
grind.
gems.
It just kind of shows the grind to like how hard you have to bust your ass to be successful at something, and I love that part in the movie, that scene where kind of Sandler's giving his speech on like, are you obsessed?
I fly home tomorrow.
Is that what you want to do? You come all this way, have one bad day, and you're ready to back down?
No, bad days suck.
Do you love this game? I mean, love it with your whole heart. Because if you don't, let's not even bother. Let's not open that door. They're just going to slam it right in our face. I love this game. I live this game. And there's 1,000 other guys waiting in the wings who are obsessed with this game. Obsession's going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about? Let's face it, it's you against you out there. When you walk on that court, you have to think, I am the best guy out there. I don't care if LeBron's playing. So let me ask you again. Do you love this game?
Yes.
Is there a newborn kitten purring in here right now? I couldn't hear you. Do you want to be in the NBA?
Yes!
Well, let's make that happen.
Like, I kind of get goosebumps with that because, I mean, everybody loves a good kind of pump-up scene like that, but I felt like that's got to be super true in such a competitive environment of, like, trying to get to the national stage. So you probably do have to like literally just like have such rigid discipline to get there.
Because you're competing against other people that
yeah
have that discipline.
And again, I really appreciate it, and I love the end credits where they showed like down to like the background people being involved with like the NBA. You know, they got Mark Cuban in there. They have
dude, so many.
I mean, they had tons of people. They had Dr. J?
Dr. J. Doc Rivers was coach.
Yeah, like and like they have all these things, and I just so many parts of it, like it kind of just felt so. It felt so authentic and real, and I have to imagine for like you, because there was a couple times I couldn't help but smile when we were watching it, where Ryan's just like, "Ooh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that guy.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah."
know?
They had quite a few cameos in there. That was really really cool.
And did you see? I guess from your perspective, because you watched the sport, like. I know you talked about how like no one's gonna dunk on Anthony Edwards, but like, did you see like the other like shots of basketball, like how it was played? Like, did you feel like like that, like they got like some good ball players that like they're capturing here? And
yeah, I'd say it was pretty realistic. There are little like finite details that I don't know are just kind of like for production, but I can't speak enough about how like this movie limited those so much more than like do you remember that stupid Disney basketball movie that was I can't even think of the name of the movie, but it's like literally one of the worst sports scenes of all time. I'll have to like show it to you and pull it up. Maybe you can show it.
I was gonna say after the podcast, you can show it to me.
Yeah, it's like night and day contrast. Like Hustle is very realistic and everything, and then this movie that I'm thinking of, the clip, the girl has the ball like at the top of the key and then just like starts rocking her feet like back and forth, and then like just kind of throws her head one direction, and the defender like whoa, like jumps out of the way, and then. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really bad. I'll have to pull it up for you, but very, very realistic.
Well I just again, I can't understate this enough, man. Like I felt the passion come through.
Yeah.
Like, and I think
from
that's
the Sandman.
The Sandman, which he's actually like a really big basketball guy, right? Yep. Like I think he follows it a lot.
He plays still.
Yeah, and like I've heard he's actually not like terrible. I mean, I know he's like in his 50s now.
Yeah,
he's probably
in a men's league or whatever. But yeah.
But I love seeing people get behind something that like they care about so much.
Yeah, they're passionate about.
Yeah, like because there's really nothing to me, man, that speaks kind of louder than passion sometimes, especially in movies. And I just smile. I found myself smiling a lot of times in this movie because I see the effort on display from like behind the camera to the real athletes they got to the authenticity that they kind of lended behind the scenes for it as well, for like how kind of these conversations that happen behind closed doors, some of the politics even of basketball. I thought that was really interesting.
Jordan, are you gonna start crying on me? Are you moved by this movie?
No, I'm not moved by it, man. I just I genuinely just really appreciated seeing a movie that it's sending a love letter to the fans that like show up and support it, and it's telling a good story.
Yep.
It's you could say it's predictable at times.
And it wasn't corny.
No, but I never found derivative. Yeah. Sure, but I just think between Adam Sandler, the production, and how well they shot the actual sports, I mean, like there's some stuff like it gets done to death because it works.
Yep.
And if you get a really good team of people to make something like this work, that's great. And the last thing I'll say about that is like, just to me, I mean, we joked earlier like sports ball and me not giving a crap about the world of sports, but I can enjoy something like this because there's universal elements in like a story, like even in sports, everybody likes an underdog story. Like everybody likes seeing hard work pay off. Yep. and what discipline and just kind of overcoming obstacles like that, like what that can do for you. And then also like just kind of the community of it all. Like I really enjoyed seeing that too. Like all the basketball people that have been in it for a while, even like the older guys, like they all kind of still know each other. The agents kind of look out for each other. Like there's this.
There's definitely kind of a family vibe there.
Yeah, and I really never really kind of thought about basketball the way I had, honestly, until watching this movie. Like, it just kind of made me view the sport in a different lens, and I really feel like the next time I watch basketball, I'm probably going to appreciate it, and maybe even cheer just a little bit,
man.
Just a little. I don't have a team,
Man,
but
those fans wearing those other colors, I hate those guys. Man,
I can't stand them.
Yeah.
Like, where do they come from? Like Tennessee?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I wanna jump back. I want to talk more about Adam Sandler.
Okay, hit me.
What are your thoughts on him? Just overall. I mean, we talked about him a little bit, like how he's mostly comedy and stuff. But like, you like most of his movies? You don't? He's Hubie.
I think he's got some really good classics, but I mean, he's clearly a talented actor. But when I think talented actor, I don't think Adam Sandler. You know what I mean?
You don't think that?
No, I think of like, I don't know, like the Al Pacinos of the world, or like
the heavy hitters, the Brandos,
yes,
that kind of thing.
Yes, I don't think Adam Sandler's in that category.
I think he's really been pushing his career though in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
like I think
Uncut Gems and Hustle, I'd say, were big steps in the right direction. The Murder Mystery, also, yes.
It's like it has some of those dumb Adam Sandler moments in like that movie, but still like an overall better movie.
Like I mentioned earlier, though, the problem with The Sandman is that for every hustle, there's also a Hubie Halloween.
I still I have to imagine, and I don't know if it's just like they shot it beforehand, but if you realize Uncut Gems came out and then literally the following year was Hubie, and I want to hope that was maybe shot like beforehand, and like maybe they're just dumping it out there because we need to get it out. But yeah, it feels like that sometimes. You get a couple like real gems, even comedy gems, and then it's like 5 just like ridiculous 6 and like the do-over or whatever. I don't know. He has honestly a bunch of them I haven't really gotten behind and seen. But I do like him quite a bit, and I actually really felt like his performance in this was like just the right amount of, you still kind of have his comedic sensibilities, but then he has like the serious moments where like he's talking about how he blew his opportunity, like in the car crash. Like I like the scene where like he's like literally kind of betting it all on Bo Cruz, and like he's on the phone just like screaming at people like, I've been in this business for like 30 years and I'm just like getting the shaft. Like I thought he was good.
Yeah,
like he was really good in this, and like
for him.
I would love to see him do more movies like this.
I'd agree.
But
well said.
Now at the same time though,
Hubie.
Let's be real. I don't know why we keep going back to Hubie, but I know you and I, like, we have like that old YouTube video of like us watching like Grown Ups 2.
Yeah.
As bad as some of those things can be, right? Like, you got to admit, like, there is a bit of enjoyment that can be found from a bad Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, even Grown Ups 2 had its moments.
Did you see? I don't know if you follow him on social media and whatnot, but do you know he's on tour right now?
I did not.
So he's been going on tour, like he's been like performing like stage music, like doing some stand up, but it's like mostly like performative art, because even on SNL when he did that, he would like do like the Hanukkah song and stuff like that. But if you had the opportunity to go see him, would you do it?
I don't know. It depends on how expensive the tickets are.
Okay, what if it's like $100?
No, probably not.
The Sandman's not worth 100 buckaroos.
I don't think so.
Okay, what about $50?
Maybe.
Okay, 50. Okay, $50, and you have like, I don't know, front row seat.
Dude, I love Iowa basketball, and I can get Iowa basketball tickets right now for like $20. So.
Okay, it says $20. $20 to go see Adam Sandler perform.
Sandman. Yeah.
I'll be honest, man. Like I like him a lot. I've seen some clips of his performances that he's been doing on tour. I would probably pay like $7,500.
Yeah.
If I had like a good enough spot, like it wasn't in the nosebleeds, I could do it. Okay, so a couple more topics here, and then we'll wrap this up. I noticed in the movie earlier on they kind of had this joke how they talk shit but also love the city of Philly.
Oh, yeah.
What's with the reputation of that? Do you know?
Philly fans are just like complete douchebags. And I stand by that.
But why?
They're very, very passionate, but they also are like I mean, like literally, every fan base has its bad apples. Philly just has a lot of apples, and
I thought they had a lot of like cheesesteak.
that too. But like, there's been instances of them, like Minnesota Vikings played a football game in Philly a couple years ago, a playoff game, and Minnesota fans were like getting like beat up, like at the state, like outside the stadium and stuff, and like sort of things like that, and then just like being complete douchebags on message boards and like completely disrespectful. And there's also some sort of complex where Philly is, for the most part, they always have really, really good competitive teams in like all 4 of their major sports that they have there, right?
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, this has changed a little bit recently. For the most part, their teams haven't been like super successful for a while. And so there's still some old heads that are living back in the days when their teams were really successful and they can't move past that. And they're like, yeah, I don't know, just like, I don't know what to compare it to.
There...
You know, like Cowboy fans, how they like were really good like in the 80s, but they haven't been good recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same sort of thing with some of the Philly sports.
I don't know why, like when I thought like professional sports and bad fan bases, I thought of like the Oakland Raiders. Like, because I always heard like Raider fans like had like a shitty
Raider fans, like just where the Raiders played there for a while, it was kind of like a tough neighborhood, so they kind of had like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, actually, they're not the Oakland Raiders anymore, right? Like, didn't they?
They're
change?
the Las Vegas Raiders now.
That's so strange. Yeah,
but like, you remember like the Detroit Pistons a while ago were like tough, gritty, like dirty, blue collar sort of thing. Like that was kind of similar to Philly, but I don't think the Detroit fans were like as disrespectful doing that as what.
Now, where would be like is there such a place that has like a really good base of like fans, like, you know, like a really solid community where they back the team and they're respectful, or is that not? It's not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to look like below the top tier teams. So like Philly, for the most part, is going to be one of the top tier teams in most of their sports. Same with like Boston and LA have really successful sports pretty consistently.
Right.
So like if you look at Kansas City is one that's close to us, or like I'm trying to think, I've got too many sports going on in my head right now. Like Kansas City is the one that's closest to us that I would relate to. Like Minnesota, I would say, are pretty like passionate about their sports. Mm-hmm. Like Green Bay Packers, I would say, are pretty passionate about their sports, but they even have a little bit of a complex because they were so successful so early into the NFL.
Yeah.
But like Kansas City in particular, they've never had like a long streak of being good. The Chiefs now are starting to be good, and the Royals won a World Series a few years ago. Since then, they've not been as good, but they've been very, very passionate the whole time. They haven't really like wavered too much,
right.
And so I don't know. That's what I'd go with.
Okay, I got 2 more things quick. Okay. Just 2 more things, and then we're done. Okay.
Okay, and then I can do things too. Okay. To you.
What?
Hubie.
It's getting weird.
Hit me. What you got?
This is a feel-good movie.
Yep.
I would argue like this is a
totally
movie
agree.
that like it's positive, it's uplifting. Sadly though, it's a freaking streaming title, so I can't physically own it. Yeah. Which I have some issues with that, and it's actually I have a future episode coming out where I'm gonna kind of like really go in depth on my full thoughts on streaming. It's not all bad, but a movie like this I would love to actually purchase.
Jordan, physical media is dying.
It's
how much did that hurt to hear that?
So how much time you got? The reason I ask, because I'm like I can go to bat on this subject, and you got a girlfriend that wants some food.
Yeah, so. No, I will always be partial towards like having the physical copy of stuff, and because like just on face value, like okay, what if your internet goes down, or like what if okay, like Netflix, they change their titles like all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's not like
I literally just had a conversation today, and like someone was telling me, they're like, "Oh, I watched this movie because Netflix was going to take it down." Like at the thing, I'm like, that's not really a problem if you actually own it.
Yeah, right.
No, it bums me out with a movie like this because this is something I would like to be able to purchase. Yep. I wouldn't mind having it on the shelf because a movie like Hustle, I think, is really rewatchable.
Yeah,
like
I would agree.
I've seen it now twice. I'd honestly watch it again because it's just that good.
Is it a Netflix exclusive?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like really you're at the mercy of whether or not they have it on their
and only every once in a while I've seen do they actually make a physical release.
Yeah.
But then they don't even always do it like in 4K, which I'm not saying this has to be, but there's some really good camera work.
You're pretty needy, aren't you?
I like
You're a connoisseur of movies.
I like good picture.
You're in the category that
I like good.
You're allowed to like 4K.
I feel like I could.
Yeah.
And do. Yeah. Okay, but the last two things I was going to ask is, one, this is a feel-good movie. I'm curious, what are some of your like go-to feel-good movies?
Good question, Jordan Anderson. Really good
Thanks,
question.
Ryan King.
Okay. I really like, this isn't a sports movie, but I really like The Martian. Okay.
That is a feel-good movie in a way.
He's stranded out there, very tough situation, makes it back, good
we have
story.
an old YouTube video on that as well. It goes against Never Back Down.
That's right. What a combination. As far as like sports movies go,
it doesn't have to be a sports movie, but it could.
I'll try and think of one. Like Glory Road is a really good one. That was about like a whole like racial stuff going on like in the 1950s.
Kind of like Remember the Titans because they have racial tensions going on there.
Yeah, I'd say Remember the Titans is also a feel good. I'm trying to think. Like have you ever seen The Rookie?
Oh yeah, I own it.
Yeah,
physical
media. Don't have to wait on Netflix for that one.
Though I don't think they have a Blu-ray for it. I just got the DVD.
Gotcha. I'd say that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a true story too.
Yeah. Sophie's Choice is just a really.
You have not seen Sophie's Choice.
I have not seen.
Just like you haven't seen Birdman either.
I have not. No, Birdman sucks.
One of these days, I'm going to strap you down. I'm going to force you to watch Birdman, and you're going to come on here. We're going to talk about it.
Feel good story.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
It is feel good if you want to feel the rush of adrenaline when you win off gambling, followed immediately after by the crushing anxiety of all the lies I have to tell my family.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That movie. That's what I'd go with.
Okay, I got to try to think of a couple myself. Sports movies wise, if I'm going to go.
Oh, dude. Sorry. One of my favorites. Cinderella Man.
That is an underrated movie.
Yeah. Feel good.
It's got Paul Giamatti in it too. Totally like just a different time in sports too.
Yeah.
To me, like it's actually like even harder, like the living situations and like how they train. Just totally different sport. But that is a good movie. If I'm going sports movies, off the top, I do think of Rudy.
I haven't seen Rudy in a long time.
It's a good movie. And it's got a great score as well. I think it's Jerry Goldsmith that does that one. I really like that. Trying to think of like just other random ones. The movie Chef, I always actually like really go to that one because that's just like a more recent one, and that's kind of like a love letter to just chefs and cooking. Actually, kind of a similar vein to Hustle, where it's just like it is kind of about like an underdog kind of getting their footing and rediscovering themselves. I really enjoyed that. Let me give you one more here, and then I'll ask you my last question.
Okay.
Let me see. Help me out here. If you got one, just throw it in. What the hell? It's like Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings?
Yeah, you ever seen that? Like the bobsled, Jamaican bobsled movie with John Candy?
I think I have seen that.
It's an older one.
Time ago.
It's an older one, but that's a feel good one.
It's a good one.
Okay, I got one last question for you. I've actually never asked anybody this question before, so I'm kind of starting off 2023 on a different note for this.
New you.
Well, I'm thinking this could be a recurring question.
Okay.
Dare I say? Okay, you ready for it?
Hit me.
Mr. King, how does the screen speak to you? No, like how do movies speak? How do movies,
No, I got
like
you.
what are your
going for.
how do movies speak to you?
I think I've always been more of a visual learner. So like books, while they provide more detail, haven't really done it for me because I like seeing stuff, right? And so I lean more towards movies, all other things being equal. And I don't know, I just think it's cool when like a story, or it could be something that you imagined, or I mean, story that you've never even heard before, gets put into picture in a way that is, I don't know how else to say it besides it's pleasant, like it's accurate and well done, and I don't know, it's kind of cool to see that stuff when it's done right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, when a movie's bad, like when we're watching, Transformers last night.
Yeah.
I mean, see, that's kind of a tough example too, because that's actually a really, really shot movie.
But you need the bad movies.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you really do. You gotta sometimes watch like a really
perfect example
movie.
of a movie that is really, really good in some areas and really, really bad in other aspects.
Which one? The Last Night?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
really, really well shot.
Yeah, because the production value behind it, like, it's high. Like, there's some really good things happening production-wise.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, buddy. Well, look, I was really happy to have you come on here. I was actually really happy to be able to pick your brain about basketball because I know how much you actually love it.
Yeah, this is a really good
all jokes aside, but I'm glad that you enjoyed this movie. I'd certainly recommend it to other people. But yeah, till we talk again. Obviously, you're welcome back here anytime.
Yeah, I guess now we have to do a more Hubie Halloween movie next, since we go good bad movie, good bad.
So like you want to talk about a dumpster fire
we'll have to do a
on the
next
next podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you can pick the movie. I mean, I picked this.
Okay.
Because I knew you love basketball. I'm like he's gonna like this movie.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for coming on.
We're shaking
hands.
Of a gun.
You got a good grip.
Yeah, let's crank.
Okay. All right, that's weird.
All right. See you, buddy.
Goodbye.